Okay, well, you'll be relieved to know that this is the only section that has me in it, or rather a picture of me in it. But the voice will be the same. The voice will be the same, and this is about innovation. And this is like my seventh attempt to make a video on what might be of value. But this, I think, is really important: is that we need health advocates, and we need lots of them. Just not in dentistry, for all different manner of things. But this is particularly about care homes. And it's for the American Mobile and Teledentistry Alliance that I'm giving a talk to tomorrow. So let's get cracking. Let me look at the video, the picture. Oh, it's got details about me. It's got my social media. It's got me talking to a scarecrow. And more importantly, it's got a book by Marion Nestle. And I don't think it got the connection in there, in that I asked for permission to use her idea of having health advocates, because I thought dentistry is well placed because we work in health, and by and by we're all trusted. Right, so thank God for that. I've gone off, and this is what you can do with ChatGPT now, and you can do it with Claude, you can do it, all these other ones, Copilot, right? And so, but these are the two main websites that I've made, and this was me out in Portugal at that time. Now, I think this might have my video on it, and it may have sound, so then listen to it, but look at the one on the
It
left.
took over 3,000 years to realize bloodletting was doing more harm than good. It took a world war to make penicillin widely available. Even when we have evidence, we're slow to act. And today, with rising disease and preventable illness, we're still moving too slowly. So what's holding us back? Powerful commercial interests protect profits. Systems and regulators protect themselves. And the public? Often left reacting, not preventing. We don't just need better care. We need a system designed for health, not illness. The answer isn't more specialists. It's empowering trusted people in communities, in care homes, in everyday life to help us act earlier and stay healthier. Prevention, support, and simple action. A longer, healthier life and a shorter period of illness at the end.
Right, so so I made that video a little while ago, and there are lots of them on YouTube, Teeth for Life, on the shorts, so look at that, because to be honest, they're quite good, but no one looks at them. Anyway, I'm talking about advocacy and being health advocates, and time has moved on. I think even if we don't know something, we can go online using our phone. It's just being confident that what we're looking at on our phone is accurate. And if it's given to you by someone you trust, then you're more likely to use it. So I don't think anyone's going to be, following me. Well, clearly they're not. But they'll follow you if and let's see how we can do that. So I like my quote. So if you're struggling, look at Brainy quote, and there's another one about that I like about the States, and it's quite relevant there's a story about someone who's sweeping the floor at NASA, and he says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." We all have something to offer, and we all have to do it together. Individually, we'll get nowhere, as I'm a prime example of. And the way we can do it is by using videos. Now, there's AI, and clearly I'm using AI. But a lot of the ideas are mine, and I forget them. But actually, AI seems to remember them. So this is what we can do, and what we can do, and I can show you how to, is how to make it with your name on it, with your organization on it. The idea is to improve health. So here it is.
I know I appear miserable, but I lost my dentures. Fortunately, this brilliant dentist scanned my dentures before my goat ate them. I'm no scarecrow. Get your teeth scanned now. Losing your teeth in later life is no laughing matter.
Learn from my 40 years of dental experience on the Teeth for Life YouTube channel.
So, these videos are getting better. The message is generally the same. Actually, 3D printing is really good. There are 3 items that I'm keen on prevention, which is teledentistry that we did during COVID. And really that should have, as the picture shows, it should have taken off. 3D scanning, well, I'm going to put this relevant for care homes, but it works for everybody. You're all used to retainers. If you've had your mouth scanned, that's your data. Make sure you ask for your scan. And the other one was the SDF, so I call it decay away. I'll mention it a few times. Why it hasn't been used is because we haven't promoted it, because we're the people who will promote it. And this is clearly a reference to a couple of people that you may have heard of in the news. And the one that used to be in the news who decided instead of going to the moon, he thought he'd just try and help about, I think it's about 70 died from malaria or HIV. And I know that most of the people on this call are more interested in delivering health and the satisfaction they get from helping people than what you call is remuneration. We all want to earn a living, but there is a finite amount that you want. I did a test on AI. I said, if we took the top 10 people in the UK and the top 10 people in the US and the amount of money they earn, how much would that filter down? It's a good exercise. I'm not a communist, I'm for capitalism, but we're not getting the trickle down. Anyway, on our advert, it said, from Ian, it said, I'm going to talk about how we can use agile technology. And this is kind of a take on it, is basically what we want to do. We can't move fast and break things, as someone famously said maybe at Facebook. But what you can do is you can test stuff. Now, the problem with health is that if you do something that's regarded as a failure, which actually necessarily doesn't mean bad treatment, but it's such a punitive situation, and we all sort of work in a system of fear, especially in the UK, and trying to work in dental health under the system that we have. And if you look at this, there's a different way of doing it, but we all have to input in. So this is similar. So this is how it works for the care home. And I think I've got the other video that I'll show you in a moment. So all you have to do is to pause these and have a look to see how it could refer to you and how it kind of works. But where you can see DCP Resource Hub, keep that in mind. So anyway, I've made lots of videos, like I said, and this is a video which I think is my best video for silver diamine fluoride. But you can put your logo on it, you can put your face on it, you can manipulate it in any which way. The main thing is it kind of explains to the public, and quite frankly to the profession, how we can actually treat disease rather than remove and replace it. And we can't dismiss it, or we shouldn't. So what I have done is I've made some videos, because otherwise I'll get carried away. And so in the section, if you go to careforteeth.org, this is what I've made. And recently I went on a course on care health innovation. It was Care Innovation Challenge. And this is what I was trying to promote. It was how we can reduce deaths through aspirational pneumonias. So that's on the website. And then, they said, do you want to do a talk? Well, of course I want to do a talk, but I've just been on the course on innovation. But I couldn't make my mind up on what to say. And so I practiced them. So they're all there, and they're all different. They've all got different slides. And even if it's the same slide, I'll say something different. And this is what's really good, is that, well, I think it's good, is it's not my videos. There are 3 videos that aren't mine. But if you look below it, I'd made about 6 20-minute videos. And when I showed it to the care home staff, they said, we haven't got time to spit. So basically, these are 3-minute videos, 2 or 3 minute videos with questions, and it'll help for them to, in carers and care homes, improve their knowledge base. And during COVID, I did this. I made Denflix, right? So, what I'm alluding to here. And so if you go onto Denflix, I think this is a video as well. I'm about to start playing it. Is it? Yeah. So if you go into Denflix, you can have a look. And it's changed a lot. I've taken a lot of sort of stuff out that was, the standards of dentistry, because that's a bit I get into trouble for that. But these are some of the things that I have done, and I think the videos are still active. But this website's kind of dying on its feet. But I'm still playing around with it. So what I did do is I made lots of videos using Vimeo, and they're about 2 minutes long. And there's a video there showing you how you can make them yourselves. It has the text. Then there's this section, as you can see, is the bit that has about using agile technology. So you press on the video, it'll explain it. And these are all of the videos explaining what we can do. And if you read the text, it's extremely similar to what I'm saying now. I've been banging on about this for a long time. And what was the other one? So you can see it's got scanning there, palliative care, SDF, television, the printing. So I know you're having a talk about scanning next week. And this is how you can make money, right? So this is how you can make money. Look on that. If you go onto YouTube and put it in, the video is and how much you can make. I think I stopped it being unsubscribed. So what else did I put on? I don't think I put anything on, but you can see what you can do. And making websites, as you know, is quite straightforward now. But this one was made on Weebly, and I need to move it because if this gets any influence, it'll take off. I need something a bit more stable, and I need someone else to do it. So because every now and again something will go. I have a rough idea. Is this a repetition? Ooh, this could be a repetition of what I did before. Yeah, so I'll skip on to that one. But yeah, I think it might have shown other things you can do on 3D printers. So that was for a care home, scanning the dentures. Quite frankly, you should scan the dentures before they go to the care home. You can scan the mouth, but I think people are a bit more frail. So this is what I promote, and I've got at home is a scanner with a big, as you say, a big head. It's very basic, but it's good enough for making dentures. So you just, in an ideal world, you want to have the denture scanned before they go in. And as you could see on my innovation, what I realized was that scanning in the mouth to make the appliance, which is very much like a bleaching tray, a modified bleaching tray, was not the right time. You wouldn't need to do it before you go in. And quite frankly, it works for anybody who's had a lot of restorative work. So you can get this in the UK, and it's a great service. If you're a dental nurse, you can set up your own business and go from or share it with someone else. But the best thing is if dental practices adopt care homes and send then nurses out with the scanners, which are portable. So anyway, that's what we should be doing, and that's a good way to make money. So certainly listen to the next course on use dental scanning. So now I've got a little bit lost because this I think is another video in the incorrect order, or maybe not. I can't put it on a third time. I think maybe I did. So this is a bit about using agile technology, and the main thing that you have is that people trust you. And if you look at all those things at the bottom about capitalism and running the business, right? These people, I would say, were very ethical. John Timpson's fantastic, but people rely on trust. People trust you. Give them all your details, and I'll tell you how you can do that easily later on. And yeah, that's another video. I can't quite read it but I've made quite a few videos, as you can tell. Anyway, so what it is that I need your help. I know a fair bit about the 3D scanning. I went to Ireland for twice a couple of years ago, and this work, scanning the dentures and giving them what they're used to, is great. It's far better than having nothing. If someone loses the denture, basically they've had it. Making dentures is difficult enough when you're healthy, but when you're frail, it's really no hope. We need to take scans of dentures. Anyway, so I thought I'd put in some photos. So the reason I put this photo in my previous talk was there's a joke behind it. But I was going to relate was that when I went and stayed in Lexington on my elective, I stayed with a student. His house was nicer than my house. His car was nicer than my parents' car. He was already in the money, and already they'd in the 1970s, Japan had approved using SDF, which, as we know, arrests decay. Right. So anyway, So if you qualify, and I found out this last time I was in the States, is you qualify as a dentist. Well, in the dentist in the UK, it's about 60, 80 grand's worth of debt. In America, it's $600,000. So you're not going to promote applying a varnish that takes a minute. And when I like traveling, and so this year I went to Vietnam, and at the hotel we met an ex-diplomat and her architect husband, and they were there because they were on their way to Bangkok to have a health check. They were paying $1,000 each per month for health cover if they made a claim over £10,000. It's nuts. So going back to the dentist, and it's same in the UK. I didn't put the video on. You'll see it on all the other videos that I've made of something that I meant about how when we brought in specialisation, it kind of really did the opposite of what it was meant to do. So if you're given a choice as a dentist, would you rather prefer to see a few people doing what they want and are happy to pay for it, or would you prefer to see lots of people, some of whom only ever come when they have a problem and are resentful of paying anything at all in the UK because they paid their stamp? Well, I've got no problem with people going down the private route. The problem is not everybody wants to go down that route either, and it certainly doesn't serve the community well. So this is, I've put a bit more about this in a different video, is that I couldn't remember the name of the guy that I saw in the late 80s, Paddy Lund, and I found out in the end by searching using ChatGPT, and it found this guy. And what he was saying at the meeting was he employed 3 hygienists, worked 3 days a week, and he was earning plenty of money and was enjoying his work. And I thought, you're talking, and now I'm thinking, oh, if only I'd tried to do that. Anyway, what I did do is I listened to these guys quite a few years ago. So Ken Robinson was from Liverpool, where I'm from, great chap. And he talks about innovation and how we get taught incorrectly, how we all get funneled, and we're all guilty of this, get funneled into what the hierarchy believe is correct. It doesn't leave much manoeuvre, especially in health, to innovate. So the guy in the bottom right is well motivated because his brother had ALS. So if you go into the TED Talks and look at these guys, so Ken Robinson's the most highly viewed. When I saw it, it was viewed about 20 million times. Now it's at 60 million times. And so what Jamie did, he worked in MIT, and so he's asking people what they had and how they treated it. So this is for periodontal disease. This is for something else, which is really interesting. Because of the problems with OxyContin, no one has really invested in looking at opioids to help one another. So if you have a look at that, it's a bit scary how we avoid alternative stuff. And one of the things that I went on a course for a day, and I can talk about this at length, but basically what we need to do is we need to look at other options, because in the UK the best thing for addiction for alcohol is AA, and the NHS neglect it, and they have 4 times better response. So you think about it like things like Slimming World, that's a fellowship. You should have your own. The best thing for dentistry, I think, and the best way to learn is through peer review. So if you go into Teeth for Life, press peer review, lots of the different things I talk about peer review. It's because from my lists, there's a direct correlation with the people who committed suicide for the list that I had. So I know at least 5 dentists who unfortunately aren't with us prematurely. So I'm definitely slowing down, but Wikipedia and the Hall technique is a good example of what we should be doing, because Norma Hall never told anyone about her Hall technique. It was discovered by someone who took over from a practice. If only you'd known sooner. But yeah, and she wasn't an academic. So what can we do? I'm not sure which this one is, so we'll see what I put down. Yeah, so I thought I'd done this one before. Oh no, was this my innovative project? I can't remember if I did it now. So this was my innovation, right? So this was actually scanning the mouth using a 3D printer to make like a bleaching tray to apply SDF to the gum margin, because I think it'll reduce aspirational pneumonias. and this is what I was going to present to the Care Home Innovation Challenge. In the end, I didn't. I'll show you what I did do in the end. So yeah. So the recent innovations and right. So this I made following feedback from the carers. If you look closely and do it again, you'll see that I made about 6 20-minute videos, and they said we haven't got a chance to look at them. And also then I found that this company did far better videos than I did because they go around care homes. But what I can do is I want to reduce this website with all that knowledge, because a lot of it is inappropriate for yourselves. You just want it for the oral health champions or anyone who's looking for someone at home. And so I need to reduce it. So that's good, because that means I've just taken 20 minutes. And what I was going to do in my talk was say, right, now, just give me some feedback on what you think. And I've made lots of these. When I say I've made lots of them, obviously I haven't spent time painting them. I've just gone to ChatGPT. You can use Gemini or you can use Claude. I think most people seem to think that Claude's slightly better now. But you know what? Compared to what I had before, they're very good. The interesting thing about this story, if I don't go on about it, is there's a guy called Mike Milkins. If you go on to Mike Milkins, search and look on the book Faster Cures, and Mike Milkins on a podcast talking about it. It's how, in this instance, how Harvard and John Hopkins, he set up a meeting for both of them, and was amazed that they wouldn't talk to one another because they didn't want to tell each other ideas. You're talking about health. It's a health service, not a health business. Right. Well, it's a health business when you next go to pay, whichever country you're in. We need to think of something different. So become a health advocate. Oh, that's good timing. And so, as I would say before, rather than listen to me, I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to what I'm trying to achieve. This is what ChatGPT produced when I put in what you call a prompt. Now, these guys weren't around with AI, but it doesn't mean that it's not relevant, because an awful lot of what we need to do is based around human behavior. So my videos that are on that innovation site, a lot of them are sort of trying to work out how we can improve health and how we can manipulate behavior. Well, that sounds a bit drastic, but yeah, so we have the nudge unit and all that kind of stuff, started by David Cameron, whenever he was the Prime Minister, and I thought that's interesting. Right, but this is interesting. So I've got a video on this of manipulating Clayton Christensen's ideas and how we can help reduce mouth cancer. And I made I've made a few presentations to our health service on mouth cancer using a dental app, 3D printing. I don't know if I did SDF. I think I did 5. I mean, I'm getting old. But this is the other one is Peter Drucker, and as you saw before with Brainy Quotes, go on Brainy Quotes. Look at Peter Drucker's. I've got an audio of him slagging off our NHS in the late 70s, saying how brilliant it was in the 60s, and how we were complacent, and it's quite strong language for him. It says there, grossly over-administrated and dangerously undermanaged. I don't think it's undermanaged, I just think it's poorly managed. Anyway, moving on. So there's another person from the States, I'm not sure if you've heard of him. People sometimes mention his name. He's been dead quite a while, unfortunately. It was Steve Jobs, and one of his things was he wanted to bring out something that had a single point of entry to make it easier for people to listen to their songs rather than do the scroll and the search. And eventually brought out this, which many of you may not have seen, but it's an iPod. And it was the iPod original. And he didn't say, oh, this is my MP3 player, which has 20 gigabytes of storage for your data. He said it's 10,000 songs in your pocket. Well, we've made a dentist in your pocket or a hygienist in your pocket. It's just health advice in your pocket. That's what I'm trying to do. And these are some of the books that I've read. So that the big white book that's blank. Well, that's Steve Jobs' biography. That's Mike Milkins. Eric Ries is the kind of talk about the agile lean startup method. Oh, that's the name of the book. The three at the bottom are all, as you would say, the ethical capitalists, right? Julian Richer, that's a great book. He's given his business away to the people that work for him. Charles Koch, I've got him on an audio book, and that's quite interesting. But he just, what's it called? He just made people work and give them the responsibility to make decisions, as does John Timpson, who recruited people from our prisons. He goes into the prisons and starts training them before they come out. So these are great guys. I'm not so sure about some of the others. But what you want is, if you're set up for business, is you want everyone in on the table. You want everyone talking about it. Everyone's views are the same. In the UK, one of the groceries is called Tesco, and they famously turned around because their boss, Tim Leary, used to go and sit on the till and made all the managers go and sit on the till a few times a year. And he brought, the club card that was innovative at the time. So there are lots of ideas that we can pinch from other people or innovate. So, but we need lots of people around the table, and let's get a blooming lawyer around the table with us to save the other 100 who are there sort of ready to pounce. Yeah, and so setting up a business, right? What is interesting is I've had more kickback from the profession than I have actually from, to be fair, all these other authorities. Because, yeah, I just asked them, look, I know you've got lots of documents, for instance, the CQC, but to be honest, I can't be bothered to read them. You know, I want to go and play golf. Can you just tell me the ones that are relevant for dentistry? Can you tell me the ones that are relevant for a care home? And then I can put them into my resource. And yeah, the reason that I came to the States was the person on the top right there, Sarah Luke. I'd come across a webinar that hardly anyone saw through the AMTA website that I'm struggling to find at the moment. And she talked about the gingival health improving by applying silver diamine fluoride. No one does research on it for that. Why is that? No, that's because it's too cheap. It's out of patent. It was done in Japan 70, 80 years ago. But I think it probably works. It's a lot better than the simple gingivectomies that I was taught. And this person here, I don't know who she is. I just found her video. I thought that's the ideal way to take photos of your mouth with any phone using the spoons. I've had to go myself, but to be honest, I've had so much dental work, it's a bit scary. Anyway, so what I want is to people to make videos, not just about how you take a photo, but about how you go about your everyday work. And then what we can do then, you know, when it comes to consent, you can say on video to, you know, hey, Mrs. Jones, I want to do this. I want to apply silver diamine fluoride after I've cleaned your teeth, and I want to put it around the gum margin to stop them decaying so you don't have to see the dentist. And I want to take a picture beforehand, and then I'll come back in a couple of weeks and take another picture. And maybe we'll do this every 3 months. If you'd be, you know, would you be happy to have your mouth cleaned every 3 months? I'll do it for half an hour. We'll have a good chat about how you used to drive jeeps in the war. God, you know, to talk about something, because people are just bored. But you can do a lot of good. There's a whole industry that could be developed by people just looking after people in care homes and talking to them. But anyway, maybe that's just pie in the sky. But what I do know is the things that you give, I know I can tidy up. And when I say I know I can tidy up, well, I've done it myself, because I've made quite a few videos, and quite frankly, some of them are a little bit dull. You can see them all on Teeth for Life, or the vast majority. There's about, I don't know, 500-600, but some of them have got really good stuff in them. And what you can do now is, I was terrible at writing descriptions. A lot haven't got descriptions, but you know, everything progresses. So now on any YouTube video, you can transcribe. You may have been able to do it for years, but I've only recently found out. So you get that description, you tidy it up, then you run it through a GPT. I'm not sure if I've put that in. And then you add it into the system, right? And then you ask for, you know, what do you think? Reduce this to, you know, 200 words. Just put the best bits in. You know, make a storyboard, all that kind of stuff. And so what you could end up is, you could end up with something like this. So, you know, I've just copied and pasted different slides from different talks. But what I have produced is this. So this dental health service net used to be what I gave to the public. Then I kind of remade it on WordPress. And so I started using this as a learning resource. So anyway, that's what I think most of the videos regarding how you go into a care home, what you need to do to get access, the forms that need to be signed, the people that you need to get to help you, you know, what you need for your setup. Is the room big enough? Does it have Wi-Fi? All this kind of stuff that you know that I don't know needs to be put in somewhere, and then we can use it. So actually, I was always concerned. So I haven't got this website up, but I did make a website on prevention. So it's called teledentistry.org.uk, and it's about MID and prevention. And in it, there's a video that's 3 hours long. It's the only Zoom thing that I ever did, and it was all about prevention. And those ideas are still there. Nothing really has changed. And then I made within that same website, is a video that says my history. And so I made videos of different places that I worked, and I think they're about 15, 20 minutes long. So there's about 10, 12 of them. Anyway, one weekend, using AI, I just converted it into the book. So these 3 pages at the top are what was also in the book, which is different ways of learning, because I think that now we should be recruiting who are good with their hands and have empathy and like talking to people. I think we're getting the wrong people in. And you know, if you want to know the answer, do what the doctor does when you go to see them. They put in all the data into their computer and let you know. You could have a health hub. Yeah. Oh, there's 100. That one. Yeah. So anyway, basically, I put all the data into this LLM, and it also can churn out a video, which it recently, well, about a year ago, could do. And then it started to do a podcast, which, well, it does that as well now. But it also can produce a quiz, and it produces, what's it called? They're all manner of things. Hang on, it's on my next slide. So what you can do now, this is what I did this is the LLM for dentistry, for care home advice. And as you can see on the left are all the videos that I've made, and there's 1 or 2, like Mouth Care Matters is there, which is the UK one, but nearly all the others are things that I've made. And so, you know, the information is as good as I know in general, which is a lot better than nothing at all. But all I have to do is, if that one's wrong, what's asynchronous screening? That'll be good. No one does that, but it's how about using your scanner and a camera and sending the data in for a dentist to watch, and they can say if you need to go in or not, or if treatment's required. And so all I do is take it out and put another one in that's slightly better, and then I'll probably have to update all these different things. So what's that? I think there's some videos in there. Yeah, there's a few. I'm trying to remember what they are. So what's it got? Video overview, audio overview, a slide deck. Yeah, mind map. That's it. Flashcards. You know, infographic. You know, it's all good stuff, but it's based on what I know. But you know a lot more, so you need to send me videos that you can make, and they don't have to be Flash. I can tidy them up. Mine aren't Flash. And so what I do is, I run it through a chat GPT. So this is there's a video, not a video, I've made, I think we'll come to it, an assistant for dental pain. And that follows all the advice we all followed during COVID. So that has none of my advice on, but it will soon have my videos. One has my videos. I put 25 videos on it, and they're not great, but they're a lot better than nothing. And I've just figured out a way to improve them a lot. And actually, the one that I saw today, which I had a little bit of help with, it's really good. It makes the others look even worse, right? But so anyone who is familiar with these will, that's what you do. You drop in the transcript from the video, and it'll tidy it up. It gives you, in the instance of mine, it says get rid of the waffle, make it concise, and make a storybook of about a minute and a minute and a half maximum, because people have the attention span of a gnat. Anyway, so this is the website that I have for the public, and so as you can see, it's gone from .co.uk. I changed that to .net, and now it's .org. Every time I try and improve it, and I think I'll move it then. But anyway, so better press the button, and this is what it does. Now, if you have a look, scanning dentures, and there's a little bit there. If you press on that, there's a video behind it explaining how to do it. Same with teledentistry. I need a lot of help with teledentistry. We should be doing that a lot more. and then, oh yeah, that was the scanning, and then it's saying these are other things on there, and some of them, like the satisfy thing, are quite, and the saving. So have a look at the website, but we should be saving the data, and there you can see me pressing Aura, which should look a little bit bigger, and it brings you into the resources section with all these assistants on, and I think I pressed the button to show you what they are. So these are the, as I call it, an Aura, and you can ask it a question. So this is the, I think it's the care home one, but they've all got a video, and the videos are good. I think it's two people talking, or it might be one person talking, and the podcast's two people arguing. And they're just a summary of what I've put into the LLM. Sadly, my friends say the videos are the best ones I've ever made because Google made them. And I think this is another one. So this is how you can register on the site. So if you, I think it's how you register. Yeah, so it's how you register. So if you do any of these things, and I'm changing this at the moment, but this is all about prevention. So I'm trying to encourage dental nurses in the UK to go on a fluoride varnish course. It's just, you can do it online in under 5 months. Really, you should be able to do it in a month. It's all about charging for these things and making more money for something that's really quite simple. But once you've got something, then you can be found. Anyone can type in the service that they want, and they'll find the role that they have. And the same is for the public. So it's the public, if they have their mouth scanned and their x-rays taken, we can use AI to assess the x-rays, which is often better than a dentist. And they can all keep reordering their gum shield, their night guards, or heaven forbid if they snore, their partner will be able to order them a new snoring device. And yeah, please sign the petition. I only need another 109,000. So I think that was me starting to lose the will to live. But the pain assistant, that will start to get videos on, but probably not the 25. This is, well, as I said, it's a video. Oh, the podcast. So the videos are all on YouTube. If you go into the playlist of, I think I said it's AI generated videos, and this is on Spotify. So if you go in dental health service, these are the videos, and they're really quite amusing, and they're quite interesting. And one or two things aren't quite right, but yeah, that's well worth a look, if I say so myself. But I want your ideas, and this is basically how the two things should merge. Is someone need to get the care homes to be aware of care for teeth? You send it out to them saying, look, we've got our oral health champion on here, and ideally these are things the oral health champion can do. And what you want to do is to say, look, this is if you've got people who've come in with a denture, and I think our Mouth Care Matters form, which for people that go in and have oral health assessment, they've now said, have you considered having your denture scanned before you come in because of the issues of denture loss? You want to do it before they go in. Afterwards, it's a bit more tricky. Yeah, and the thing about it is that if we can show how these things work in a care home, they work for everybody. It's the silver diamond fluoride is palliative care. It sort of keeps the teeth going long enough in a child till they fall out. For an adult that can't afford the treatment or is going away, it buys you time very cheaply, very quickly. And obviously in care homes, you just want them to last long enough. So this is a point where, in theory, everyone can take off. And if you're marketing it, they'll come to you. So I think the next one is a video, and it's what explains how SDF works. And I think it should have sound. And this one you can change.
Would you like to know how to avoid that noisy drilling for you and your children? Let me explain how. Why not look at the problem differently? Is there an alternative solution that is good enough and lasts long enough and doesn't need a dentist present? Wood is strong, but it's still softer than dental enamel. With woodworm, the ideal solution is to remove and replace the damaged wood, but sometimes a protective varnish is used as a temporary, practical, hold-it-steady fix. The good news is, in many cases, a special varnish can be applied to arrest the decay. It disrupts and destroys the bacteria and helps create a tough protective barrier that seals the weakened area, often without drilling or other surgical treatment. It's a quick, palliative fix. It takes about a minute to apply, and it can last up to a year. This palliative care can protect the tooth long enough until the optimum treatment is possible, or prolongs time for your child's tooth falls out naturally, and help reduce the need for challenging dental treatment in later life.
Learn from my 40 years of dental experience.
I think you've met him before. Anyway, we'll need funding. So although you can go on it for free, you can do a bit more. If you don't have a website, I'm pretty sure we can make one along those lines, and it'll be kind of a minimal charge to set it up and then a monthly fee. And the way it's set up at the moment is if someone says they're a dentist, then they have to start paying. I think it says £10 a month. No one's done it yet, but they will. And one or two will be the founder members. They'll be the gold or platinum members, and then silver members, and the laggards. But yeah, please give it some thought. Let's think about how we can do something. And I've come to see you twice. To be honest, going to Edinburgh is probably going to take me longer, but come to Edinburgh. I hope Fiona's sitting in on the call, and at the very least you can come and see a dance again. That's always entertaining. And yeah, I think that I repeated that, be a founder member, and you'll get a badge. I mean, there must be some ways that we can start raising money. And then I'm thinking, ooh, this is an idea. So what I thought was then I can take questions and you can watch what I've made. And I made this a while ago, and like most of the things, I then forget what I did or how I did it. So this is all HTML, and I give it the prompt, and I have read it. It's all pretty good. If it needs changing, then let me know. But the idea is to produce these is to make it relatively easy for people to set up their own business, because I'm really against large corporates, having experienced them twice, having been threatened legally twice by them. Years ago by our wonderful GDC, when I asked a patient to write in and complain about the state of the practice because it was dirty and grubby. She was really pleased with my treatment. There was no worries with my treatment. But yeah, I got fined the same amount of money as the boss. Yeah, that's what's kind of partly driven me. But yeah, we never taught how to start a business. The worst part is in the UK, when you qualify, post-qualification, the people who lecture to you, the people who are trying to get you not to start a business, and they scare you. We need to help one another for, as I would say, for the greater good. So have a look at this website. It's definitely not perfect, but it's a starting point. I'm not sure what else I put on here. Oh, work with us, right? So it's all there. So there's certain videos there that I made quite some time ago. That one there about GDC Specialist Register began. That's the problem. We've made a mess ourselves, and as I said before, you can see I've made quite a few of the videos. I tried to put the better ones on here, but I think I did this. This must be about 8 months ago. And my videos, you can see, if you go into YouTube Shorts, what I've done there is taken stuff like SDF and the other lectures that they were long. I made 3 long videos after coming to Portland in 2025, and they're too long. And then I made a shorter ones that are like 5 minutes long, and there are 10 that say, if you type in DHS on it, they're the 10 videos how we could improve the health service. And 5 minutes is too long, so I reduced them to a minute, and then I broke them into 20 seconds. You can see where we're going. We've got the attention span of a gnat, and I've overrun, and I want to watch the football, which has just started. France v Spain. Oh God. I hope some of them get injured.